Hi everyone, my name is Suneel Jethani and I'm from the University of Technology, Sydney. And I'm here to talk about a paper that Nadine Raydan from RMIT and I published in the journal back in 2015, which looked at the emerging sensor-enabled digital wearable technology that collects data about the self. And at the time, the types of devices that were on the market were the Jawbone, which I think has now gone out of business, the Fitbit, which have now been bought by Google, and obviously the Apple Watch, and a host of other devices that were being developed for different types of applications. Things like, sensor-enabled lanyards that could be worn around the neck in the workplace that had voice recognition technology embedded in them so that people could datify and assess sociability in workplaces, implantable devices such as insulin pumps and seizure monitoring devices and so on. So in the time since this paper was published and reflecting back on the arguments about the sort of performative aspect of datafication and how that contributes to the construction of persona, I'd like to offer 6 sort of theses or provocations about where this particular technology is heading, and think of this as, potentially a kind of research agenda for how critical data studies, the object of self-tracking devices and persona studies might intersect. So the first of these is that biometrics and sociometrics result in a significant restructuring of the relation between persons and personal data. A restructuring of the relationship between self and other, and public and private personas. The introduction of implantable and ingestible technology creates closed-loop data flows, and again, the boundary between who or what actors sit on the inside or outside of those loops becomes a kind of important question that requires further empirical and theoretical study. Third, artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies acting on personal data are bringing about new forms of alienation and oppression of user subjects. Fourth, knowing what happens to data over time is becoming as important as knowing what data about a person exists in the world. The provenance of personal data becomes methodologically relevant to persona studies. Fifth, the contingent nature of personal data custodianship on intermediaries is raising challenges for responsible personal data stewardship. What is the duty of care, and where can we assign moral responsibility for the use and reuse of personal data? And finally, datafied personas, as they become a priority in human-centric design, can have recursive effects on the future affordances of the technology. How are whole persons represented in patterns of usage that inform design of technologies that collect personal data? So I've kind of provided 6 provocations or reflections on the relationship between persona formation and datafication. And my last slide has a little bit of further reading on some of the issues that I've just talked about. So thank you for your attention and my compliments of the day to you. And yes, thank you.